Well, here we are again, and welcome back into another edition of Unleashed. Today, if I haven't been already, I'm going to be the bad guy. And I encourage you to listen to this entire thing because I've got a really good chance of connecting with you right now. If you're watching this, the chances are that you've lived a similar experience that I'm about to detail right now. I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little bit crazy when I first say it, but it might resonate with you after I explain it. You know what might be absolutely ruining soccer in our country? Tournaments. Sounds crazy, right? Tournaments. But man, Americans, we love our tournaments. I just had one this past weekend with my 8-year-old daughter. It was amazing. This is a picture of them holding up the trophy at the end. Notice how you can't see any of their face, but that's the trophy. These are wonderful moments. They really are. It was called Surf Cup, and that's the tournament that they won, and they participate for a team called LVSA, but they won the tournament. They beat a team along the way that had never lost to somebody, another team that was the same age. They were amazing, and somehow we beat them in a shootout, which, by the way, guys, you tied on the record book or whatever. It's a tie. Just tell everybody that. You lost in a shootout. You didn't really lose, but you didn't progress in a tournament. Okay? You with me? Great. I guess Ipswich could say the same thing against Nottingham Forest or Manchester United against Fulham. God, they suck. All right, so here's the problem. There is an industry within the industry that is gone absolutely batshit crazy for all the right reasons. If you're on the business side of running a tournament, this is your revenue stream. I looked it up. The numbers are incredible. We are talking about $1 billion business. The bigger clubs will make $1 million, $2 million off a weekend, right? Now, I'm not talking about just the 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds. I think it's okay for us to have tournaments and you have open substitution and the kid plays for 7 minutes, gets out. Are you tired, honey? Okay, come on out and put somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually fun. We're not worried about the physical nature of things. If the kid gets tired, you get to pull them out. The problem is that we have tournaments, competitive tournaments for 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-old boys and girls. And thank God, more recently, some of these games are a little bit shorter than they used to be. They're not 45-minute halves. Maybe they're 30-minute halves or 35-minute halves or 40, whatever. But they're still asking our children to play 4 games, sometimes 5 games if you want to get to the final, in 2 days. Can somebody tell me how that is taking the safety of our children into consideration? Please, this money-making monster is everywhere. The people that actually put forth these kind of tournaments are charging thousands for each team, and then they're getting to the point where there's thousands of people, thousands of teams showing up. It's unbelievable. The money is dictating the conversation. They got to cram it in. They got people complaining. Wait, if I'm going to pay all this money and fly all the way out there across the country, I better at least get 3 games, a minimum of 3 games. That makes absolutely 0 sense. But it makes perfect sense to somebody who's spending a bunch of money. Don't even think for a second that there's more ways to make money in this deal. Now, we've heard pay to play, right? How about stay to play? Heard of that one yet? It's a kind of a cool concept. The organizers of the tournament mandate that you stay in their hotel so they can get a kickback when the thing is over. Okay, good business? Great, whatever. The monster is alive and well, but it's not helping the soccer at all. And let me explain why. One of the biggest problems that we have in the United States when we present a player to Europe, for example. Europe doesn't do this. They have a work week, regardless of the age, and they play 1 game. 1 game. That's it. And everything throughout the week and all the preparation is about that 1 game. And the other thing is the parents don't get to say, how come little Johnny didn't play? Because they're not paying the club. The club in Europe is paying for the existence of this team. So the parents no longer have to scream and yell or get to scream and yell about fair value, and we're paying for a service and the kid only played 7 minutes. I want my money back. That doesn't happen in Europe. But you do get full value because we figured out a way to run your kids into the ground over the weekend and make sure that they're limping by the time they get to Sunday. But you got your fair value. Come on. Think about your kid. Now here's the other part that thanks to the folks at Got Soccer and the rating system, right? Everybody's got a ranking now. Our kids are smarter than you thought. You get into a tournament and the list comes out and the first 3 opponents is right in front of you. You know what these kids do? They look at the first team and say, well, they're not that good. They lost to so-and-so and they lost to so-and-so. Yeah, we should be able to beat them. And then you walk away from that team or that game after you lost and you say, how the hell did we lose to those guys? Because your kids didn't try. They were pacing themselves for the second game, which was a higher ranked team that they needed to bring it for. How does that help? Your kids have figured out a way, because they're smart, to pace themselves. themselves through a tournament. They never go full exertion because they no, I can't do that. We got a game at 3 o'clock. This is only the 10 o'clock game. I got to figure out, I got to eat something in between and be ready for that second game, but I'm going to go through the motions in the first game. You habitually start going through the motions as players. You're not giving each minute of every game the value that it deserves or the energy. So when you go to Europe, I love the American reaction to that. Man, we went over to Europe. Those kids are going in on tackle. They're running. They're this, they're that. I go, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to look. Well, we weren't ready for it. Of course you weren't. You just spent 4 years of playing in tournaments. Now, some of the bigger, organizations, MLS Next for that matter, I know why they call it MLS Next, because it's like Niagara Falls, but it's over and the kid goes over the play. You go, next. Sound familiar? Okay, you probably get it. But if you're a parent that is actually engaging in this activity, you need to take a couple of things into consideration. Your kid's health. The fact that they're never going full tilt. You're basically getting 60% of them 90% of the time, not 90% of them 60% of the time. Make sense? You want to get better. You got to play fast. You got to play hard. And when you play in tournaments and you ask these kids to give everything, they're not, okay? They're not. Boom. Hey, mind blown? No, your mind shouldn't be blown. Any coach out there knows how this works. Anybody coach that's ever coached through a competition like this, it could be deciding a national champion. It could be our regionals. We have to figure out a way to profit from everyone traveling, and then we have to figure out a way to get these games in so we appease the parents, and we just, whatever we do, we give them a nice big trophy when it's all said and done. You know what's really interesting though? It's now a growing thing. 80 to 90% of the clubs that run these competitions now have their own travel agency within the club. Think about that for a second. They're not even interested in saying, hey, come out. They basically ask the question, okay, how do we make money off of these people? If we've already convinced them to, now they're going to stay somewhere, let's get the state of play thing kicks in, and now you have to stay with them. You got whistled on that. Did you hear that? Even my phone became a referee. It just means the game started. And I really should have my phone turned off, but that's a different story. Bottom line here is tournaments don't help. They are a massive reason why the level of play is suffering. And if you don't see that, or maybe this is the first time that you're digesting this kind of information and you're saying, wow, maybe that does make sense. How do we change it? Good luck. $1 billion business. Follow the money. That's U.S. Soccer.